it's Mo. I am very glad you're here. I thought you might be interested in this. I know I was. e.l.f. has released primer infused blushes, but this time they are shimmer blushes. So I don't know when they released the original primer infused blushes. I believe it was last year, and there were maybe 4 colors, and I did not get any of those, but I looked at them several times, like in Target or whatever, and I heard really good reviews about them. But when the shimmer version came out, I thought, oh, those colors all looked really interesting to me, and I thought maybe you'd like to see all of the colors swatched. When I bought these from the e.l.f. website, they were only available on the website, and so you know how I feel about that. If it's only online, it's always like a bigger risk, so I like to give you that opportunity to see them if I can. So they're the e.l.f. Primer Infused Shimmer Blush. This is how they're packaged. If they do happen to be in store, you know what to look for, because things definitely look different in their packaging and out of their packaging. So that's why I always try to show you things in their packaging. But this is what they look like once they're out. And I'm kind of going in order from lightest to darkest. That's the idea anyway. This one is called Always Hazy, which is the lightest color, we'll say. And this is a fairly nude shade. It leans just a touch brown. There might be just a little bit of mauve in there. And these are all shimmer blushes, as I said. So this is Always Hazy. And this is not a first impression. I have not worn all of the colors, but I have worn this formula now a couple of times, and I think it's really nice. I think it lives up to everything I've heard about the original primer infused blushes. So that's Always Hazy. And there's 10 grams of blush in each of these pans, which is really big. And I believe these were $6.99 each. I will double check that and I'll put it on the screen here if that is not correct. And then our next one is Always Breezy. They all start with the Always kind of name. This one has more peach to it. I think it's showing up a little more pink on camera than it is in person. Again, this is Always Breezy. Just looks like that. Don't they swatch nicely? These are one of those, like, I'd say hidden gems, except that people have already talked about how good these are. The primer infused blush in general, but I haven't heard a whole lot about the shimmer version of them, so that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this for you. So again, that's Always Breezy. Next is Always Silly. I like the names, fairly simple. This one a little more coral leaning. Again, I think it's showing up still a little more pink perhaps on camera than in person. So Always Silly is that. And you can see, like, I like that there's a variety of colors and depth of tones and things like that. My light to dark didn't quite work, but whatever. You get the idea. Next one is Always Cheery. This one definitely is more pink. It's a little more of a blue-based. Well, it's more pink than the others. Let's see. Well, let's just swatch it and then you can see. See, that's more pink and a little deeper. That's Always Cheery. I was actually confusing that with another color, which is this one, which is Always Preppy. This is the more blue-based pink that I was thinking of. There you go. Yeah, you can see that's a more blue-based pink. I love blue-based pinks for blush. I've always really liked them. I know some people don't like that, maybe what they call bubblegummy kind of shade, but I really like them. I tend to prefer cooler shades for blush. I'm going to put a little more of that on just to make the swatch more fair, just so you can see the color better. I might redo that Always Hazy too for you to make sure everything looks, you know, fairly even. And then the last of the 6 is this one. This is called Always Lucky. And that's kind of the brighter magenta leaning deeper pink. Berry toned, I guess I would say. So that's that one. I'm going to add just a little bit to that Always Hazy, just so I make sure I'm swatching them all evenly, because they're all swatching beautifully. So there are all 6 shades. Always Hazy, Always Breezy, Always Silly, Always Cheery, Always Preppy, Always Lucky. I'm impressed that I remembered all 6 of those names. And I don't know how much of the shimmer you're catching there. It's a fairly subtle shimmer. I'm going to put one of these on too. Since I mentioned that I liked this blue-based pink, Always Preppy, I figure let's go with that one because I know that's a color you sometimes don't see people demonstrate. Look at that. I mean, really. That pigmentation is fantastic. I'm trying to get my lighting not to go in and out here because I really want you to see it. If you haven't watched me before, I always use natural light. I try to, because I want to keep things as realistic as I can. So there's no filtering, there's no... That was maybe a dip and a half in the pan. I want to make sure I'm being accurate. But really, I mean, you just can't beat that pigmentation. Now, there's not a ton of shimmer, but you see it catch just a little bit, catch the light. So it's kind of a glowy blush. I think you could kind of go either way with it. Like, if you don't like sparkly or shimmery blush, I don't think it's too glowy, like it's going to accentuate lots of pores and things. But having said that, it's also not totally a flat matte. So it kind of strikes a really nice balance between those two things. And I think it could work for a lot of people who maybe shy away from like flat matte or shy away from, I don't want it too glowy. I just think these are fantastic. And as I said, I've worn them. Not all the colors, but I have worn them. And I felt like they lasted all day. You know, I got them through a work day that was probably from the time I put my makeup on until I took it off, 12 or 13 hours. And I still had blush on at the end of the day, which is often a win for me because I feel like blush just disappears on me. And that was basically effortless to put on. So obviously I'm a pretty big fan of the e.l.f. Primer Infused Shimmer Blushes. These are relatively new. And as far as I know, these are the 6 available shades. So, and there's the swatches again if you wanted to see those. I really thought that might be helpful. And to be quite honest, I'm happy to have all these colors because they're all colors that I will use and I will enjoy. So I hope that was helpful. That is always my purpose here. I just really appreciate that you hang out and talk makeup with me because I absolutely love this stuff. I hope you are having a good day, and I will talk to you soon.